So, within the past few years, there have been a lot of artists that have gravitated towards the fad of genre bending. And far be it from me to tell them no and resist the temptation to evolve. Because evolution is important when it comes to music. If you don't try and branch out and stay in that one lane, uniformity is something that will definitely kill you in this business. But it'll keep you alive for 15 minutes. Now, people can actually do this very well, and some people can do it very poorly. Some of the people that have done it well I've reviewed on the channel, and some of the people that have done it poorly I also have reviewed on the channel. But I don't want to take away from the fact that I'm still a fan of those people and talk about them, because negativity towards one specific thing was just mainly because they didn't have the right people in their corner to steer them in the right direction. Now, with this album, Dem Atlas has created one of the strangest yet most interesting albums I've heard in quite some time. The last time I heard something similar to it was his previous project, Downer. And there aren't that many people out there that go towards the old school style of storytelling. For a small example, a lot of people, at least a lot of people in my family and some other friends that I've known growing up, in America, you listen to a lot of classic rock, some people like Lynyrd Skynyrd or Alabama or Def Leppard, anything in that specific classic rock genre. You've listened to it or you've heard it or you're still a fan of it to this day. And there are certain ways that you would hear a story being told, whether it was direct or even somewhat abstract. You don't need some kind of major, huge trip off of acid to understand what the song is about. You just listen to the words. It's something that's direct, but also has a larger meaning in the process. Some of the topics that Dem Atlas covers on this album ranges from the party aesthetic that hits a lot of people nowadays on the opening track. But then there are other times where you talk about the underlying feelings of depression that you have that you don't want to talk about to people, like Early Train, or at least that's what I got from that song. And then there's times where you just don't want that person in your life anymore and you try to just stay away from them as far as you can, like Pneumonia. And then there's times where you want to talk about the person that you want to talk to that's in a public setting, yet you can't muster up the courage to just say hi. And because that's all you have to say, you're not going to be seen as a suitable partner in their eyes, like Music Man. There's a lot of great things with this album, but all in all, the general picture is a societal helplessness that we can't seem to escape. And that in and of itself makes this album some of the most unique music that has been made within the past 2-3 years. There's something about this album that grasps everyone's attention, not just people in their 20s or 30s. People that are in their 50s have listened to this music and say that it's actually something that they would listen to like it were those bands from back in the day. There's something with the way that Rhymesayers approaches their artists. I've talked about them before on the channel, and I've talked about them with some of the other artists that I reviewed even before I came to YouTube. There are so many people out there that have been signed to this record label and they've done some huge, amazing things with their music that have called them some of the greatest to ever touch the genre of hip-hop. Not just underground, the entire genre. When you base your entire existence off of just a small part of hip-hop's timeline, yet you've spanned it through years, and you sign people that actually want to continue your legacy of breaking down the walls, that's something that is detrimental to music. You need to make sure that you always come to the table with something different, something that will always have people feeling what you're saying, whether it's a love song, whether it's feeling lost, whether it's wanting to feel lyrically superior, but you just can't find the true courage to let it go. But that's the one thing with this album that doesn't show itself, yet it has an underlying mole moment. There's whack-a-mole tendencies in this album where he doesn't say how superior he is. He knows, but he doesn't say it, because he lets his storytelling do the talking for him. I think that's all I have to say for this album. I really enjoyed listening to this album. I highly recommend you guys listen to it. My name is Ethan, otherwise known as Two-Face. This is episode 51 of Claws. I was going to do something big for 50, but I decided that I would much rather do something for 100, because that is just a huge milestone to go 51 episodes and still have the support, still have artists saying that they enjoyed the review. That in and of itself makes this worth it. I don't care how many people watch it. If the artist enjoys what I have to say, that's what matters. So, Dem Atlas, if you end up seeing this, congratulations on the release. I really, really am excited for whatever you have in the future. And keep working hard, brother. That's all I got to say. Tune in next week when I review the brand new Apollo Brown and Joell Ortiz album, Mona Lisa. Have a great weekend, everybody. Stay selfish. Until then, I will see you guys next week. Peace.